It's been a few days. I'm back. I'm back. I'm stressed. I'm cold, and somehow I'm still alive. Um, yeah. So yesterday we had Easter. We also had 420 for those who observe that occasion. I don't personally, but I'm not gonna tell anyone not to. I mean, it's a fucking plant, right? But yeah. God, what's been going on? What's been going on? Playing way too much Monster Hunter lately. And I am stressing out horribly over my cat. And my own health is going down the shitter too. So, with it having been a little bit since my last upload, I think it's been a week. I'm not sure. But anyway, the most recent good news that I had that I may have shared, may not have, I'm not sure. Anyway, I mentioned previously that I was contacted by my um, care team as far as my transition goes, and they were contacted by insurance saying that they need up-to-date letters from my therapist. I got the first appointment taken care of. They need two letters, right? So I got the first letter taken care of. What was it? It'll be 2 weeks ago Wednesday. Funny little story on that. So I hadn't heard from the one therapist in a couple weeks, so didn't know what the hell was going on with him. So I reached out to my other therapist, my original one, asking her if she knew of a way to get me in touch with an alternative therapist. She gave me the number to call, and I got set up the same day with an appointment. And she gets on, she gets on the call. We do the sort of video, so whatever. And one of the first things that she tells me is that we actually were not supposed to have this appointment. Reason being is because she operates out of the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota. Meanwhile, I am in a different state altogether. Now, I didn't know that this kind of thing was even really possible, but you have to be licensed to practice, this. I don't know if it qualifies as medicine because it's all talk therapy, but she's not actually licensed to practice with people that don't live in the state. So the way that she got around that, still legal and everything, but she had to bring in a superior to sit in on the conversation and the appointment. And who should be the person that came in as the overseer of this appointment, but the first therapist that I was trying to get a hold of for the last 2 weeks prior. Like, okay, why? Okay, if he was in the office, he was available, why was he not responding to the inquiry about my letter? So anyway, he sat in. We had our discussion, and they both agreed that the letter of recommendation is being written. So that'll just leave me with my appointment in early May to get my other letter. So yay for that. I don't know if I'm talked about that previously or not. I don't know. Memories get so jumbled these days. Uh, yeah. Yeah, more recently though, made some pretty good progress in my writing yesterday. Oh, sorry, Saturday now. Um, and then last night I started, just poking around with my characters in my inside my mind, and I realized I finally have pinned down the pronunciations of the character names. Because honestly, the character names that I have, um, one has been set in stone for years. The second one, which actually was the original character that I conceived, I've been wondering how to actually pronounce it, um, just because the the name that I took or that I gave this character is actually lifted directly from a foreign language, which I look it up how to pronounce it, and Google and none of them actually have an audible pronunciation guide. Most languages, you type in a name, it'll tell you how to pronounce it, or tell you how to pronounce a word. But in this case, it just didn't happen. So for the longest time, I was thinking, okay, do I, how do I go about, emphasizing the syllables here? And to me, it never sounded right. It always sounded too forced, too rough whenever I would say it. Until tonight, when I just kind of took a step back and thought, maybe if I try a different approach to this name, and and essentially just soften the syllables. I know it's kind of weird, but for the reference, I started saying it out loud, and I realized that this pronunciation works. The character name. Um, I knew how I wanted it spelled all this time, and spelling was fine. The meaning behind it was fine. It'll make sense in the context of the book if I ever actually get written. But yeah, it was like it was like the first way I was pronouncing it for so many years. It just felt too much like the like a harsh German almost. The fact of the matter is though that the origin word is actually from an Irish term. I'm not gonna spoil it, but it has a meaning that's kind of tied to uh, fantasy lore and D&D and that kind of thing. So kind of give you an idea of where it came from, and maybe a little bit of World of Warcraft too. I don't know, but and then there was the third character, who's just kind of been sitting in the background, intended as a support character in the second book, but will step into the spotlight and be the you know, the driving force in the third and final volume. And they'll be the one to close everything out and see the story through to the end. And I started applying the same principle to their name as well, and I just began to realize that yeah, this actually works a lot better too. Just when you soften things up in pronunciation, it makes a, a world of difference. So I went for it. It also helped that Saturday I was able to write in and introduce a, I guess I would just call it a multi-generational character. Um, yeah, the premise with the story that I'm working on is that it's going to follow a 15-year time span, focusing on one character in the first book, and then character number two will be the primary focus in the second book, with character three being you know, being a companion character, and then in book three, and that character will become the main focus. Like I said, and close everything out. But yeah, I was just trying to think of supporting characters and minor players who have a certain role in the story, but you know, I don't want them to just appear in volume one and then never show up again. So I've been playing with these angles as far as the character backgrounds, the world lore, and it's slowly coming together. And this character I was working on Saturday, I introduced them briefly. They play their role in that part of the story where I was at right now, and they moved on. There's going to be a lot of behind the scenes stuff between book one and book two, where this character gets really involved in something and paves the way for a sibling character to become a part of the story as well in the 15 years that follow. So maybe I'm overcomplicating things, I don't know, but it's a story I've been trying to flesh out, trying to expand upon for the last, God, what's it been now, 12, 13 years? Yeah, I'm slow as fuck with it. Yeah, so that's basically it for the good news. Then I got the bad news I gotta whine about. Yeah, I'm gonna piss and moan and whine for a little bit here. So yeah, since the beginning of the year, I'd say just early January, I started having issues with my hand. It hasn't gotten terribly bad, but I'm experiencing pain in the outer side, with just below the last two fingers on the left hand. Luckily, it's not the right hand with the writing, but it's interfering with work and making gaming a little harder. And I'm really not sure what I did to it or why it's doing this. I have a theory that it might be tendonitis. I'm not sure. Maybe repetitive strain because, well, I've been playing too many games. But hard to know right now. So now I go to work. I'm spending half my shift in a hand brace, and just so I can limp along throughout the shift. Not exactly a lot of fun, but gotta deal with it, otherwise I'm not gonna have a job very long, Yeah, gotta pay the bills. And speaking of paying the bills, she's hiding under the desk. But Trish has issues, and they are stressing me the fuck out right now. So it must have been about a week and a half ago I started to notice that she had this bump on the back on her back between the shoulder blades. And I didn't think too much of it. I mean, she's actually had a lot of small lesions on on her back and her sides. Ever since she got that sedated grooming, that that full body shave, it that thing has just been a total nightmare for me and hers. Of course, I mean she had the issue with the scabs over both her hips. They both they both healed, but when I went and took her into the vet on beginning of last month, they were talking about the sensitivity in her back, and I mean I took the vet's word that it might have been arthritis, and at the time he gave me two options: either a daily pill, which would involve me making her take a pill, which good luck there, or a monthly injection called Silencia. So me, being the more one and done kind of person, I opted for the for the Silencia over the pills because well, you have once and you go for a month. Well, okay, that's fine, but he also gave me a flea and tick medication, and it applies to the back of the neck and everything. It's supposed to be good for a month. So it was about 3 weeks ago that I applied the flea and tick stuff to her. Yeah, it's been about 6 weeks now since the Silencia first injection. So yeah, we're a little overdue according to the schedule that the vet set up. But anyway, I am actually that's why I'm really wondering if it was either the flea medication or if it was a Silencia that's causing this issue. I mean, she's got a fucking scab between her shoulder blades that's almost as big as my fingertip. And she cannot reach that spot. So you know that she was not aggravating something, not over grooming or anything. She just cannot reach that spot on her neck. So something's causing it. And I looked up the side effects of Silencia, and lo and behold, I think it was third or fourth on the list. It explicitly mentions scabbing of the head and neck. Now, yeah, this is the shoulder blades, but it's close enough to the neck that it's very likely. So we have an appointment with the same vet on Thursday morning, but given the history that we've had with this vet, I really can't say that I trust him anymore, because everything that he has recommended seems to just making Trish worse. I mean, he was suggesting, he suggested in the first place to get the sedated shave. I just wanted them to go in, to go in and shave around her butt because she gets things caused back there that she can't easily dislodge, and she gets very testy very easily when I try to go back there to liberate those things from her back fur. So we did the sedated grooming to alleviate that issue. But then, in the wake of that, she started getting all these lesions, all these spots on her back, on her skin. Most of them have gone away. I think I felt one a few days ago still, but as far as all the rest of them, she's fine. But then this scab shows up just just a week or two ago, and her fur's come back almost completely by now. Although now that she's got that scab, that spot is bald. And I won't lie. I saw that spot yesterday, and it broke my heart. I was literally on the bathroom floor crying over her, just because of how horrible it looked. She's not bothered by it, from what I can tell. She still runs around and everything. She doesn't get doesn't get testy when I start messing around, poking it, or trying to expose it to clean it or anything. She she'll try to look at me to give her attention elsewhere. But usually if she doesn't like something, she'll very vocally make her position known. But with this, it's just, oh, you're touching my neck, okay. So at least there's that. Ah, but I just don't know what to do with her right now because that scab keeps opening up. It opens up and opens up and opens up from time to time, and I've got no idea what to do about it. But yeah, when I looked up the symptoms of side effects from the salicylate injections, to see that scabbing on the head and neck is so common that it shows up at near the top of the list. It just kind of was like oh, this is probably it kind of moment. I mean, I'm not gonna bust in there making accusations, but I'm definitely concerned. Anyway, on that happy note, I am going to go to bed because I'm tired, and yeah, my mind is kind of fried right now. I gotta go spend money too. I think I want a new TV. Yeah, I got this crazy idea over the weekend. These Facebook recommendations just they don't make a lot of sense to me with the algorithm, and it advertised some exercise gear that in the moment spoke to me. I was like, oh, that might be pretty good, for my purposes. Then I started thinking, okay, where I'm gonna put it, where how I set things up, as far as being able to use it and not not being in the way all the time. Finally, I just had this idea. What if I just move everything down to the basement? Set up my current TV down there. Use that as an entertainment source while I do whatever exercises I have gear for, and we'll just go from there. But of course, then I would need a new TV upstairs in the living room for my gaming and movie watching. So I got a long way to go yet. I gotta figure out which TV I want and buy it. But I get ideas. Shit, sorry. Anyway, I'm gonna go to bed now. I'm tired. We'll talk to you later.